Well, 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 here we are again, and now they can hear you on stream.
Hello, everyone. Don't know what these episodes
So today, well, first off, if this is your first stream with the watch along, what you do is you queue up your episode, or if you're watching the VOD, we're watching Season 1, Episode 8 of Enterprise first, Civilization, and then Episode 9, then Episode 10, and you just queue up and you press play when the timer hits 0, and you're good. What are the episodes today? Fortunate Son, which has nothing to do with Vietnam. And Cold Front with Queen Daniels.
Yes, we see the first Daniels sighting.
Yes. Well, how long was he on the Enterprise? Excuse me, this is Enterprise. So how long was he on Enterprise serving as, like, a waiter before he revealed himself? What was he doing? How long has he been here?
I mean, he's just a crewman, so, like, whatever. He's some kind of grunt.
But he's not really part of Starfleet. Nobody noticed him since they left dock.
We've seen other crew members serve the captain his meals, so he wasn't always his butler.
The butler thing isn't really my question. The butler is just, how long has he been on the ship?
I mean, presumably since the beginning, because, like, Archer recognizes him.
Yeah. So what has he been doing? Just keeping an eye on Archer? Just watching?
Probably just waiting for something to happen.
Okay.
In the future,
tomorrow,
he would know exactly when to show up for something to happen.
Tomorrow is not Voyager. Well, it's one episode of Voyager. Tomorrow is Halloween episodes. Which is Cat's
episodes?
Paw, and I guess we can do Dead Stop.
What about Sub Rosa?
And Haunting of Deck 12. Look, we've already watched Sub Rosa like 3 times. As much as I love Sub Rosa, there's only so much to say about it. So we're gonna do Cat's Paw from TOS, which is very Halloween. Dead Stop from Enterprise, which I'm not totally convinced is Halloween, but it's a little spooky. And Haunting of Deck 12 from Voyager, which is a ghost story.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Stop is not a jump scare kind of thing. It is more of a there's a tiny bit of body horror, but there's also like psychological.
It's
horror.
The vibes.
Psychological thriller.
Like this incredibly.
So anyway, how's everyone else's weather? We had some discussion of weather before we started the stream, but how's everyone's air quality index? What direction is the wind going? What's up?
Oh, you didn't ask me for
we don't have air quality index here. Well, I mean,
yes,
we probably do, but nobody cares.
I care.
We don't have raging brush fires.
The funny thing is, in China, the government publishes air quality statistics, but nobody trusts those because they're wildly optimistic, and so everyone uses the U.S. Embassy's Twitter feed to see what the actual air quality is in Beijing, and it's terrible. It's like 391 parts per million.
Okay.
My air quality index right now is 15.
All right. Ha! I'm winning. Mine is 8. Though it was higher yesterday. So, yeah, 8 parts per.
I'm looking on IQAir.com.
8 micrograms per cubic meter of something. I don't know what. Doesn't matter.
That's the
particulates or polluted. Yeah, but concentration of what? Primary pollutant PM10. Okay. Anyway, about 25 seconds to start. Everyone be queued up to Civilization with a Z. And we'll get
with
going.
an S.
It's not with an S. It'll say it in the title.
It was with a Z in the title, yes. But it correctly would be an S.
No.
It's not. No. Nobody says Civilizations.
It's not.
Press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
Nobody says civilizations.
Civilizations, no.
Well, actually,
Civilizations.
if you have a Swedish accent, you will pronounce the Z's as an S sound.
Nobody here is Swedish.
No, yeah, true.
What do you think we are? The Borg?
The Borg are Swedish? Oh, yeah, I guess they are.
Yes.
But are you saying the title card of this episode has an S at the end of it?
No, it has a Z.
No. A Z in the middle.
What?
Where do I
It's
go
just
for
the
air
one
quality
civilization,
index?
really.
The North American spelling of civilization is spelled with a Z. The UK and other English-speaking countries.
And guess where this show is
Right.
made, Soma?
The United States of America. Oh, okay.
Listen to that
now I
American
understand.
Southern accent.
Now I understand what the controversy was. I thought you were just talking about the plural of the title.
No, the
No.
plural is not spelled Z at the end.
It's
That's
not
not-
plural either. It's just civilization.
Just
Okay.
one civilization.
Thank you.
Ryan's message in Discord is incorrect.
Right, fine, I'll remove the bloody
Put it on
plural
the
from
bottom one.
There.
Yes.
Does that make you feel better in Discord?
It's more accurate.
Also, there's
Where do
the
I go
count.
for air quality index again?
I
I
looked
don't know.
at IQAir.com.
Just Google air quality index your city or zip code or something.
IQAir.com.
Yep.
Air quality index is
Alright.
40, then says 21 further down the page. Is that different kinds of air quality? Because there are several different measures of air quality. They measure different kinds of pollutants of different sizes. I'm looking at
14,
PM10
apparently PM
pollutant.
2.5.
I'm looking at PM10 on
PM
my 8.
2.5.
Man, listen to that intro. It's
Oh yeah, PM
I have it
2.5 and
muted.
PM 10, both in good range.
Why do you have it? Michael, do you just not like things?
Yes, I am.
Do you
I
hate fun?
things. I hate all things. God, Star Trek sucks. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I
How
had to
dare
suspicious.
you?
You're here like on
Dare
on
you.
the dot
How
of time
dare you.
every week. I don't think you could actually mean that.
Speaking of
What if I
Swedish,
just like you guys?
I don't think so.
but we're things. Are we things
Do
to
you
you?
think I don't like you?
Z, it's with a Z.
500, that's a pretty close orbit.
You
How high does the ISS orbit?
uh,
about
what,
the same,
330?
actually.
It's like
400
330 miles
kilometers.
or something like that.
Yeah, about 400 kilometers, and
It's-
they're currently orbiting at 500.
It's 254
the
miles.
Thank you.
According to
It's-
Google.
It's low Earth orbit.
I watched
review.
this
It's
scene
like
recently
it's
on YouTube.
barely orbit.
Sorry.
Ooh, that's a good zoom and enhance.
Yeah, that's an amazing enhance.
Oh, I
A
remember
clipper
this
ship?
episode.
A clipper ship like the Enterprise.
Clipper ship.
No, that was Guinan who said clipper ship.
Oh, okay.
Mark Twain said starship.
Thanks.
The registry is that.
By the way,
And every time we say starship on stream, it gets more exaggerated.
Starship.
T'Pol is promulgating the Prime Directive here, and Tucker and the captain are like, "Yeah, whatever. Well, let's just go down and explore."
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there would be an episode if they didn't go down there.
Right.
I guess they could just spy on
Wow.
people from orbit.
Yeah, they can really zoom in, huh?
I mean, it is
I mean,
kind of
yes.
hypocritical of T'Pol here. As we find out later, the Vulcans have visited Earth before in person.
Yes.
But not on purpose.
True.
They had a.
They do just spy on
They
Earth from
crashed.
orbit. They're supposed to.
Okay, but Jonathan, you don't have a universal translator that works like the universal translator in Next Generation.
It
How are
does
you gonna
work.
speak their language?
Yeah.
It doesn't
They
work
do
like-
have one.
Problem
works
is,
It works
with
like
obvious.
TNG. It's a device that they have to hold. It's like Google right now.
Yeah, whatever.
You're
It's
right.
fine. What are you giggling about, Hoshi?
Okay, now you're gonna tell me it's hearing stuff from orbit? I don't know about that.
I mean, there's radio waves.
How is
that
the
you can
sound
hear.
getting to the ship? Yeah, how does that work?
Radio
It's not
waves.
It's
radio
the
waves.
acoustic
They don't
array.
have radios.
It's the acoustic array. Don't worry
It's
about it.
literally a giant microphone.
Well, they are low enough in
Oh.
orbit that there's some air there, a little
But
bit.
No.
they are using sensors which are probably emitting things to detect parts on the planet, so they could probably just bounce off the air and try and figure something out.
And
I
measure
don't know.
the vibration of the air from orbit.
Right.
So
We
Yeah.
have. I was just about to get this. We have laser microphones where you get pointed at a window and you can listen to what's happening inside the room because you're measuring the vibrations of the glass.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
maybe they have something like that on just a large scale.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Okay. Against
like
the whole
old spy
atmosphere.
technology.
Laser
that's the
microphones
window.
are cool.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway, but that's true. You've illustrated the principle on which it could work. So thank you.
that's all that Star Trek really cares about. To be honest.
So the ship has a straw that it just sticks into the atmosphere, and then a laser
Thumbnail.
comes out.
How convenient that they look basically exactly like humans with a little bit of a forehead feature.
Just Star Trek.
What
we
are
have
the
to-
odds?
We find out in the chase why that is.
Yeah. Also, you're not supposed to see what I'm watching because it's out of focus. You're supposed to queue up your own episode because of copyright. The blur is just so you can help determine if you're synced up or not. This is an audio-only stream.
We follow copyright law here.
Well, sometimes.
At this range,
Follow it
then-
closely enough that the channel doesn't get shut down.
The sensors are so advanced at the moment they can detect neutrino emissions which, without any sort of containment, where neutrinos are incredibly hard to detect without such containment.
Hang on, I have a question. They have fancy new medieval era clothing, but they don't have a replicator. Do they have a tailor? Where did they get
Yeah,
the
they
clothing?
have a tailor, they have a seamstress on the ship.
Wait,
They work
have
fast.
replicators, though.
They have
Soma, do
protein
you know-
resequencers.
Synthesizers, yeah.
That is a...
Soma, do you know how our neutrino detectors work right now?
They work very
The
well,
ice.
thanks for
Life.
asking.
Essentially, it's a room which is designed to try and contain it as much as possible.
So a neutrino detector is usually spherical, underground, and you're covering the entire interior surface with photoelectric sensors, and you fill the
Yeah.
whole thing up with water, because when a neutrino passes through water, it emits light. So that's what they're saying, like the astronauts that went to the moon were having like these flashes of light in their eyes. So I think it was neutrinos going through their eyeballs and causing flashes inside the aqueous solution in their eyes.
Yeah.
That seems unlikely. Neutrinos passing through an eye and interacting with the matter? That'd be pretty rare. An eye's pretty small.
Well, that's one of the hypotheses for why they were seeing these flashes of light in their eyes.
If you mean on the ISS is in the perfect spot for neutrino emission.
No, I'm talking about Apollo astronauts were reporting it.
I thought, It would be a bit weird. The moon does have it's not really an atmosphere per se. It has just particulates around it.
An atmosphere doesn't really matter for neutrinos because they just go.
No, I mean, in terms of the atmosphere produces neutrinos through high energy particle emission.
Right, and also we have to catch them. So like catching them and isolating them is so impossible that I think we finally just discovered them because we underneath like a mile of ice, we have neutrino detectors, and therefore we can exclude everything else but what is the neutrinos.
And post some pictures of neutrino detectors.
Yeah.
Present day neutrino detectors.
You have a gun. You can open the door. Oh no, they
Yes,
also
but
have a
that's
sonic
not-
screwdriver they can open the door with. How convenient. I don't think that thing's ever going to show up again.
Are neutrinos antiparticles to neutrons?
No.
I do not believe
No.
so.
Okay.
No, neutrons are actually very
a
heavy.
recently-
Neutrinos are just
Yes.
basically no
Neutrinos
mass
are
particles.
recently discovered addition to beta emission and other things like that to balance the equation. Because there was a bit of extra energy that was missing in the equation.
Yeah, and I think they have like some decimal of mass, like 0.0.
We don't know yet whether they have mass or not.
Yes, we do. They have mass.
No, it's
There's like a
suspected they might
fraction.
an undetectable amount, but we don't know currently whether they do or not. We have not measured it.
Yeah, I mean they are moving at the speed of light.
No,
nonstop.
We know what their mass is.
No, we don't. I literally just did this in a lecture, so no, we don't.
In my physics courses, we went over the mass of neutrinos. What are your courses saying?
They don't.
Who has the older
They
textbook?
officially currently do not have mass. We are suspecting that they have mass.
They have
Or
to have mass
some
because
suspect
they
they
move
don't,
slower than the
some
speed of
they
light
don't.
in a vacuum.
Yeah. That's part of the reason probably why some suspect they do, but we haven't measured its mass, therefore we don't say it has mass as a point of scientific.
Well, I'm gonna fire a neutrino at both of you, and you.
They
let me
have a
know
mass
which
of
one has
1.1
mass.
electron volts.
I'm firing neutrinos at you right now, guys. You feel it? Sorry.
Is this getting weird? Is this?
I don't know what he's talking about, but neutrinos definitely have mass. I don't know what you're on about, Soma. 1.1 electron volts.
That was the point.
I do not have a degree in physics, but from what I remember, they have some infinitesimally small amount of mass because they're not exactly massless. I've just watched a lot of Star Trek in my life, so that's what I know.
Star Trek is not a good source for scientific information.
It makes
I
one
mean,
intellectually
it's better.
curious.
It's better science-wise than like Star Wars, but
Right. Uh-oh.
Star
Use
Wars
gun on
is
woman.
just straight
Thank you,
science
T'Pol.
fantasy.
thank you to
Space
Paul.
fantasy.
Use gun on woman. Finally. Didn't she have a crossbow? I mean, crossbows are deadly. but-
Essentially.
Wasn't she preaching non-intervention
Crossbows are very deadly.
like a minute ago, and now she's like zapping people and
Well, she's
Well,
here.
she had a weapon.
uh-huh.
God, it's been so long since I measured something in electron volts for mass.
But sorry, I was remembering though. Basically, during First Contact, everything they tell Zephyr and Cochrane about the statue and the future of humanity, that all messes with the timeline. They're like totally unprofessional there.
There's a lot of unprofessionalism in Enterprise, but they're learning. So, what class was it that said that it doesn't have mass?
Elementary particles.
I want the name of that professor.
That's what the veteran point is.
E-review causality would seem to imply that they did everything correctly because the universe didn't unravel. So
Yeah, it all worked out.
They went back in time and they told them exactly what they told them the first time.
Yeah.
Or they just always lived in that universe where that happened that way.
Like, I realized that phrase, to seek out new life and new civilizations, people in Enterprise are quoting it as Zephyr and Cochrane, but it's really the TNG crew that gave it the Zephyr and
Predicted
Cochrane.
to be. So we don't have a measurement for it, therefore we don't know. It's a prediction, not a guarantee. We can guess at how much mass they have based
We can
on
barely
our
grasp these
ideas,
things,
but we
so.
haven't measured it, therefore we do not
Okay,
say
the
so.
exact mass being hard to measure doesn't mean it doesn't have any.
We haven't
That's
measured
not-
it, therefore we
Okay.
do not say it does. There's just a general
You can
point in
observe
physics.
it through so many ways, like the way it is of a black hole, how it curves around a black hole, the radiation it gives off. So this is an interesting dispute, though.
Can we stop about neutrinos?
No.
Is it
Yeah.
is it like a fraction of an infinitesimal, or is it zero? That's the dispute.
It's not zero.
Hey guys, there's an episode of Enterprise.
I don't care. I care about neutrinos.
Yeah, let's
This is
settle the
very
neutrino
similar
dispute.
to, kind of similar to a data it's a Data episode where he's forgotten everything and he's brought the radioactive isotope with him.
Right. So you're saying Ryan believes in the 4 elements and the 4 humors?
Rock, fire, sky, and water.
You're calling him a
The water in wood is
Neanderthal?
difficult to see, but the 4
Because he
elements are
believes-
always there.
You're calling him a Neanderthal because he believes a neutrino has mass? You're pretty intense, Soma.
Didn't say that.
I think one of these people is a heretic, heretical.
Well, the standard model is pretty impressive, the way it's been verified so well. Because it was hypothesized in the 70s, the Higgs boson, and even the Bose-Einstein condensate. And like we found those one after the other. The more we started, smashing things in
But that's because we
accelerators.
use the equations and things and we figure things out, and then we're like,
Yeah.
okay, is this real or is this not? We need to do the experiments to figure it out, and then we find, oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, and it's pretty impressive that the Europeans, like CERN, like they built bigger and bigger ones, particle accelerators. And it's like, yeah, let's just find out.
The
'Cause-
discovery of the molecular particles from like all the hadrons and leptons, things like that, went very quickly in the 20th century.
Right. And like in the late 19th century, Niels Bohr was just like, I think it's plum pudding. That's what the atom is. Because they had like cathode ray tubes to measure stuff. But even
More
what they
varied
did at
collection in the entire city. Wow, what a varied collection of spooky masks.
Yeah, this guy's a
Is
shady
this a
merchant from
Halloween
Skyrim.
episode?
In
Some may
Skyrim,
call
when you-
this junk, but me, I call them treasures.
Oh wait, sorry. This guy reminds me of the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. His face just I keep seeing that figure from national politics.
Why does everybody's
Looks like
scanners
a
have
Romulan
blinky LEDs
device.
on the outside? Does the blinking help?
The blinking and the sound effects.
Nobody's ever heard of it. It's a trash backwards planet.
Thanks, Ryan.
Earth, it's full of backwards primitives. They don't even have warp drive or transporters or replicators or starships, really.
Yeah. It's cool how Enterprise
They don't
runs
even
into-
have a unified planet.
This is like the Wild West, basically, and they're like encountering all these species that are just vagabonds, and they're selling their wares.
If you have the coin, I have the where.
Yeah, this is very much like that episode of the Data having a radioactive.
If you say so.
Oh, it's
Jonathan Archer has his
similar,
memory
and it's
here.
enough to be recycled a little bit in terms of different people come to the planet and cause a disease.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his reactor is presumably an antimatter reactor, so I guess it could be radiation poisoning if it's not properly shielded.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's definitively irradiated neutrinos. According to them, anyway.
yeah, an antimatter reaction shouldn't really give off a lot of neutrinos.
It should be.
Yeah.
I believe it's gamma. Is it not gamma radiation?
He can feed and clothe half the continent, and he's not going to help anyone because of the Alien Prime Directive. What are those cones? What are those things hanging from the ceiling? Is that a light?
Assumedly.
It must be like a torch.
Well, she's also got a bunch of candles.
Oh, so it's a hanging plant, I think.
Bones hanging from the ceiling.
She's like an apothecary, so that's why she has herbs growing up on the thing. A
This
pharmacist.
woman looks a. This woman looks a lot like the captain from the Columbia that we find out had a thing with Archer in the past.
Oh God, what's her name?
Oh wow, they have Bunsen burners.
Captain Hernandez. Erica Hernandez. I mean, it might be her. That's Diane Delascio. I don't think it's her, but I can see the similarity.
It's his archetype, you know, like his.
And her name is almost Ryan. It's Rianne. It's close.
She's just mixing herbs to look busy.
Radiation poisoning.
I really like the distillation stuff that they have built up in chemistry labs. Like, I've never used it or had to, but it's a really cool concept. If you wanted, you could separate anything in a solution.
How did she sample the soil and the water? What's she looking for? Oh, T'Pol just used some litmus paper. A real science thing. Determines the acidity of a substance.
That's a great map.
The pH.
Also known as the acidity, yes.
The artist.
Well, it could also be basic.
The artist did a really great job on
not acidic.
Making that poster.
Well, 0 would be not. I mean, oh, sorry, 7.
Well, they put a lot of money into the first season of Enterprise.
Yeah, no kidding. And like you guys were mentioning the costumes before, like how did you get that tailored? But like there was the gorgeous blue one of them was wearing, or was that T'Pol's purple? Oh no, it was Hoshi's blue. It's like such a radiant color of blue. Looks a little Indian even.
What? It's such a tiny cup. You don't get any tea from that.
It's like a quarter ounce. And it's not flat on the bottom. How do you set it down?
You don't.
A little stand.
It doesn't matter if you can set it down when it's full or not, because you drink it instantly in one sip. And then you set it down, it doesn't matter. There's nothing to spill.
It rolls off the table and shatters because it's a cone.
The cup of tea that he handed back to her.
She's a smart pre-industrial lady.
Sleuth.
She just did the Civilization thing. Well, Civilization the game, not the episode. Where you just research the tech tree a little bit out of order. Research forensics before machinery.
Even on Earth, that happens all the time. Like, for example, China invented China and then never invented glass.
And it set back their scientific advancements for centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but like modern humans have a weird concept of how history should work. Like if we have something,
yes, it should work like ours.
To us, it doesn't seem possible that an older civilization would have something. Like he's talking about their pre-industrial, but she's using forensic techniques. Like, what does industrialization have to do with accurate forensics?
Right.
Well, she doesn't have tools to actually measure anything. Good tools.
Are you familiar with Baghdad batteries?
Sorry, one brief thing. fingerprints are only discovered in the early 20th century. So you would think that people would have like figured out that like finger painting or something leaves that detailed of an impression. But as for crime usage, like a policeman in Brazil or a Latin American country found a blood print and cut the wall, the dry wood out of the drywall out of the house where the murder happened, and found the guy that way.
Dog? What is dog?
It is funny that on this planet they're treating it as the universal translator just translates the vibrations when it just goes through the translator.
The universal translator scans people's thoughts patterns and assigns the correct grammar.
Her acting is really great here.
Now that's assault.
You can tell that it's 2001. Stuff like this was relatively acceptable in the movies.
No, your translator's fake. Stop kissing it.
He only did it to preserve their civilization, Ryan.
Yeah.
She's gonna figure it out anyway.
But sometimes you gotta work up your courage and make a move. But be prepared to get slapped.
Oh, I think she's really disappointed there with that explanation. I think she actually...
This reminds me of so many mafia movies where it's like you just load the truck with all the contraband. Then there's a shootout.
Cloaks have got to be a massive pain to clean, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially if they're too long and they're dragging in the dirt all day.
And Archer's is all poofy too. Like, it's very elaborate.
It's gonna get caught on door handles and stuff. It's gonna... Cloaks look cool, but they seem somewhat impractical. Very warm, though. It's just walking around with a Snuggie all day.
I was gonna be a Benedictine monk for Halloween, and I was looking for like the cloak, the robes. But then I thought there's enough people already making a mockery of like a monastic lifestyle, so let me not waste money on a Halloween costume this year.
Why does his radio have a blinky LED? Is that its working light? Radioactivity light?
It's the future, Ryan.
Literally none of my electronics blink at me. Unless you count the monitor blinking really, really fast. Except that's kind of not how it works anymore, but you know. Used to work.
But even the light bulb was blinking at you really, really fast in that way too.
The only thing that blinks is my phone's notification LED.
Yeah. Back in the day, like Blackberries especially, they used to have like a little different colored light, like an LED light you could set it for a text or like a different kind of...
It's before OLED displays, because you didn't want to turn the entire display on just to give a notification light. But now with OLED displays, you can have like a bar or a dot on the OLED light up without lighting the entire screen.
Right.
My phone, I have a Razer phone too, and it has an IPS display, and so there is no notification light. You can have the back Razer logo light up as a notification light, but that's on the back, so like when the phone's down on the table face up, you don't see it anyways, so it's awesome. I miss notification lights.
I noticed that Enterprise uses some of the same shooting locations as TNG and DS9, but I don't know if this is...
Well, it's available.
But they're in a cool forest here.
That's not a crossbow. What sorcery is this? Light that can kill a man.
We haven't even looked in the boxes yet, right? We don't even know. How do we even know?
Well, the
he's a bad
boxes
guy?
got tractored up to a ship.
Oh, okay.
At least some of them did.
Thanks.
All three that he brought here did.
What was that, Archer? You punched him with only one fist. Well, that's gross.
It's a lizard man. He knew Earth. When they said I've never heard of it, he's like, yeah, I know Earth. We've been messing with your politics for years, centuries.
Maybe Archer is a lizard man.
What if you were a lizard man and you didn't know it?
Something else I noticed about Enterprise: the Suliban costumes are so authentic and like well painted. I don't think
They look exactly like the real life Suliban uniforms.
But it's like there's a stretchy costume underneath the makeup also, so they're really covered in whatever they're covered in.
There's an episode where, what's his name? The main Suliban bad guy. What's his name?
John Fleck.
Sillick, thank you. He's an episode where he's a human like the entire time.
Yes.
When they go back to fight the time traveling Nazi demons.
And he doesn't understand human colloquialisms. Oh, it's the cave set. We haven't been here in a while.
Lovely cave set.
Same cave.
Now, is this the Toxu Tot part of the set, or is this the this is the Thaleron wave generator, whatever.
Oh wow!
Really? No matter how many light years you go, there's always this cave somewhere nearby.
With the ledge too.
They're mining.
Ooh.
Oh, wow,
I think that's the pit where Juliana Tanner fell and broke her arm off.
We have that today. Also, 3D. Oh wow, that's
a cave set.
No, I thought it was 3D.
Where's the cave on Earth? This cave has to exist somewhere on Earth because it's on every planet. Where is it here?
Stage 10.
It's in Los Angeles. It's just above ground here.
Yeah.
Aliens beam down for secret mission. They just go to Los Angeles.
Viridium's also the explosive from Star Trek Generations. No, that's tritium or something. Trilithium.
Trilithium?
Yeah, sorry. The planet is Viridian 3.
What do you mean you don't have that much time? You have a transporter. Yeah, there you go, Archer, transporter. Figured it out.
That was the same 3D CGI as in the Vulcan Monastery episode when they're having a firefight. Archer opens the door and they find the Vulcan spying observatory. It's like the same 3D thing going on.
Bengala Street. Yeah, that looks like a barrier. That's a lot of assumptions, Jonathan. My keyboard is not color-coded to what it does on the screen. Both. Nope, not blue. Blue is bad. What if we shot the console? That always works. From space.
How come in every other episode where they're presented with an alien computer, they immediately know what buttons to push?
Because that one's blue. And it's lit. You know what else is lit? Star Trek is pretty lit. Am I using that correctly?
Woo! Yeah. That was a good one, Ryan. Hey, that's Ron DeSantis.
True, they did read the script, so that would help. Have you tried pressing the yellow button, Jonathan?
Those doors look like the Defiance ladder and all that. Bulkheads.
Tellurite? What is a Tellurite?
So the blue button locks you in. That's what Archer gets.
Ooh, that hits painfully close to home right now.
I mean, but think of the Ankali economy. How much better it could be if you just sacrifice a few thousand people. It's fine.
Why are they going to use a gun?
Well, she knows what a trigger is because they have crossbows.
Oh,
and crossbows have triggers.
Yeah, they're not quite like a gun trigger, though.
Just in ship design.
It's close enough.
Can be.
Yeah, but in a medieval society, at least the one that we can compare to, which is our own, they look a good bit different than like a pistol grip trigger.
Yeah, it was like a lever, that you'd squeeze up on.
It's close enough.
Get the general concept.
Prepare. You're always preparing. What are you preparing when you prepare to leave orbit? What does that mean? To prepare to leave orbit.
Prepare for what?
Punch in the path in the computer and then hover over the engage button, I guess.
Oh wow, look at the LCD screens.
So are we gonna bombard it with torpedoes, or?
I'd say I didn't know this before. The planet shots in Enterprise are really beautiful because you didn't just get a matte painting anymore.
Oh, evasive maneuvers. I rewatched a clip from Discovery, and they call it like, oh, evasive pattern Delta 4, and then the ship just sits there, not moving. Like, that doesn't look very evasive, Saru. It's that bit with the big battle with Control's fleet, because the two ships just sit there and take it. But they still give out their dramatic lines, like it's a dogfight.
What I like, kind of, the tension between Tucker and T'Pol is like they basically hate each other at this point, which will be.
So Tucker's being insubordinate. He's not in command.
Yeah, he's totally. He refuses T'Pol's authority on multiple occasions.
You know, their ridges kind of look like mini Cardassian ridges. Maybe they'll eventually evolve into lizard people.
And, Michael Westmore was makeup artist for TNG and DS9 and Enterprise.
But these people are literally lizard people.
Yes. Oh, the coolant. The bridge wall coolant is leaking. Why is there coolant there?
Wait, isn't that prop the site-to-site transporter from Voyager?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Was that Voyager's computer core?
With Leonardo da Vinci in it?
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Wow, Enterprise crew is really resourceful.
It might have been. I'm posting a picture in general.
Considering how scared
Yeah,
they are
that's
to
the same prop.
transport,
That is 100% the same prop.
considering how scared they are to transport matter, like biomatter, should they really be transporting antimatter onto the Enterprise?
Yeah, it's fine.
And then
Don't
in
worry about it.
space, okay.
I mean, we didn't know exactly
sure
what
it's
was
the
going to
same
happen
prop?
when we disconnected its powers from
Yeah, that's
everything else.
definitely the same thing.
But, you know, it's okay. It worked out.
All right. Well, yeah, we disabled the enemy ship, so yay.
Yeah, they rearranged those cylinder things. Maybe they shot it from a different side. What else did they use that prop in?
You guys are talking about China and inventions, but the Chinese had gunpowder from ancient times. Well, yeah, but then it took.
But they didn't even use it for guns. What's
Right,
even
they
the
didn't
point?
use
Yeah,
it
I
for-
know.
and-
They didn't know how to use it.
But then the Ottomans used it for cannons, and then from then on, it just spread to Europe.
You know, I heard there was a Chinese woman in the military who used a gunpowder rocket and aimed it at a snowy mountain, caused an avalanche, defeated the Huns.
Yeah, I think that happened.
There was also a dragon and a cow.
And a cricket.
And a cricket, yep.
Mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
I still haven't seen the remake of it, but I heard the woman who plays Mulan is supposed to be like a pro-CCP communist or something. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Yay, we've cured radiation in the 22nd
Though
century.
it also has Chirrut from Rogue One, the blind monk.
Yeah, the Vulcans aren't going to do anything. Sorry.
No. The Vulcans are worthless. Also, why did he give her a jar of apple juice?
That's to heal the radiation poisoning.
Apple juice heals radiation
whatever it is.
poisoning?
Well, what is supposedly in those jars?
So, if she tells anyone about her experience, they'll call her crazy.
Yes.
But at least she got a kiss or two.
And he never comes back to visit her.
Nope.
This is him being Kirk, basically.
Saying, well, it's okay. Maybe we can see each other again. You know you're not going to. It's just to soften the blow in the moment.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Mm-mm. I saved your planet. That's what you get.
All right. That's Civilization. Just the one civilization with a Z.
Yes. Well, it is with
And
the
the-
Z in the title, so I just said that.
And the next episode is Fortunate Son, which is all the villain. Oh, the villain has the best name. It's great. 1 minute to that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to spoil it, but you can probably guess what the villain's name is.
Travis.
Travis is not the villain in this. I guess he is from the point of view of the Fortunate Son, but no.
Yeah, the prodigal son.
It would have been great to see Q in Enterprise.
What would he have done? What do you want Q to have done in Enterprise?
Interacting with Daniels would have been
He
fun.
should have been with Daniels, yeah.
Because Daniels, Q would be like the counterpart to Daniels, because he's always interfering in basically the same manner as Daniels does.
And because Silic tells us not to trust Daniels, we actually don't know if
Hold
Daniels
that
is
thought.
telling the truth.
Press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. Continue. And blur.
Daniels just
That's a
gets
funky
a
looking
cool
freighter.
wetsuit later.
That looks kind of like a Star Wars freighter to me. Why does that look familiar? Kind of looks like
Looks
a
like a
big,
TIE
I
fighter.
think
a chunky Y-wing.
they're kind of making it, or they're trying to kind of make it look like the Botany Bay style.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, don't they have a similar model number?
It's cool how they give us a sense of space because this is as long as a football field.
Yeah, so the Botany Bay is a DY 100, and this is what, a DY something?
And a football field is 300 yards for everyone in Europe or the rest of the world.
See, the ECS Fortunate is just Y class. Just Y class.
Okay.
This
I think
first
what you
officer?
mean. Hold on a second. Just what you mean is not 300 yards, 100 yards plus the end zones,
Which is
that
300
are
feet.
10 yards each. So it's 360 feet from the end of the end zone
A
to
long
the end of the other
road.
end zone.
Sorry.
So the first officer in this episode, we have seen before in Star Trek. He was the
Yes.
apprentice storyteller in Deep Space Nine's episode.
Tried to
The
stab
Storyteller.
O'Brien with a knife.
Yep.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was the episode where the
Enterprise
planet
cargo
or
ship.
the village was being destroyed by this cloud monster, the Dal'Rok. And they had to like stand in the town square and yell, "We are stronger than the Dal'Rok. We will come together." And they had to tell the story of how big and strong they are.
Yeah, now I remember. Thank you.
Ironically, this ship is called the Horizon, right?
No, it's the
Yeah.
Fortunate.
The Fortunate?
The Horizon
What's the
is Travis's old ship.
Okay. So there is a literal container ship called the Horizon Enterprise. 'Cause I was doing a search, I was trying to find the information on the cargo ship, and I found.
Something
Anyway.
I just learned from the Amazon trivia, not from this episode, but a few ahead. But Enterprise had real crew members of the aircraft carrier of Enterprise do cameos in future episodes, in at least 2 future episodes, which is pretty cool.
Would the Enterprise have been decommissioned at that point? The actual
No.
Enterprise?
No, it would have been at the height of its career.
He's such a good boy.
Enterprise. Air.
Yes, we can
On,
watch it.
on,
Come on.
on the
Get out of
Discord,
bed.
I added a new channel for polls so I can quickly get people's opinion on things like, should we have a Halloween stream? And of course, the most recent is who's a good boy, and the only option is Porthos, and 12 people said yes. Porthos is a good dog. There's not an option for no.
It was out of service in 2012 and decommissioned in 2017.
Archer shirtless.
I
by
think
the way.
we sold it for scrap
Yeah.
recently.
Please give me a minute.
Oh, hey, Vaughn. Oh, we saw you last week in Voyager. You were Romulan. What happened? Okay, so I made a poll in YouTube, but it automatically added a no option for me when I asked who's a good boy. Why would it do that?
I like how in Enterprise, every time the Admiral calls, it's always to make the wrong decision or to mess them up somehow. And
No, it isn't. What do you mean? Are you
They
dissing my
always
man
better-
Vaughn?
they'd always be better off if they hadn't listened to this guy.
No, what are you talking
Not
about?
only is it a longer journey for the other ships to get there,
Porthos.
they're also probably less powerful than the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yep, Y-class freighter, says T'Pol. 1.8. God, it's going to take forever.
Oh, something great about this episode: the Nausicaans are the bad guys. So
Yes.
TNG
Well-
shout out.
Kinda.
Yeah, no, but we don't get to see usually the Nausicaan. We don't ever see Nausicaans attack a human ship.
Are these even Nausicaans, though? Because they don't even play Domjot Human.
Yeah, they're not real Nausicaans. They are just jerks, though. They don't even kill anyone. They're just
Well,
pirates.
now that I think of it, I remember what the Nausicaan captain sounds like, and I think he's a regular, a regular guest or whatever you call that.
For for
He
Nausicaa?
shows up a lot, but I don't know as who. Maybe he plays Hirogen? I don't know, we'll get to it. Once we actually talk to the Nausicaa captain, I'm sure you guys will recognize his voice as well.
Like I was watching, Laura's a friend of the channel, so I was watching Laura Reloaded, and he points out that like giving up territory sovereignty is like a rite of passage for Starfleet. So like, it's like the fact that like humans are getting beat up by Nausicaans here, and we're like, all right, just take the cargo, don't kill any of us, and we'll just keep shipping the same supply lines unprotected. It's just it's the cost of doing business for Federation/humans.
What if on the Fortunate we put a gun, like a bigger gun?
Yeah.
Or a torpedo launcher, phase cannon, something. What if we put in something that can move faster than warp 1.8?
Yeah.
It would cost a lot of money.
What money? Do they still have money? I'm not sure.
And
I think they do have money in here.
This is
Enterprise.
So reminiscent of like 70s sci-fi movies, not just Star Wars, but also Alien, which Ryan has not
It's
watched.
all dirty. There's rivets in the walls everywhere.
And Nostromo and that whole aesthetic of like model ships, frankly. I
So
really
this
love
man, this man right here, the one who stabbed O'Brien, this is Ryan.
He's the hero.
Matthew Ryan. But he goes by his last name.
He's put on some weight since Deep Space Nine.
The other guy too behind him was one of the people from that episode with Captain O'Connor.
Captain O'Connor.
The one where Data...
yeah, I know. The one who sexually harasses every woman on the ship. I know O'Connor.
Yeah. And Data goes on the holodeck and talks to a racist
Makes fun of Joe Piscopo.
So this is like when the police show up and like people tell you at the door, no, there's nothing going on at all. Like the whole ship's disabled. The car, everything's out of service. They're adrift. They obviously have injured people. And like, yep, nothing to see here. Our distress call, that was an accident.
I mean, I once called the police and then they had to be turned away. However, I was a very small child at the time, and there was actually nothing happening, and I was just a baby. So.
Okay.
I mean, in general, better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, police still need to show up.
Yeah, actually, they're required to respond to every call.
But no, apparently, like when I was a toddler or something, somehow I dialed 911, and there was some screaming in the background because my siblings were all jumping on the bed.
And they traced.
So all the police heard before the phone went dead, and I hung up on them, was just children screaming.
And 25 years later, you're doing intakes for Star Trek episodes. So you've always had that ability to do the odd juxtaposition.
What? What odd What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it's funny. The dispatcher had to hear like screaming children, and he or she thought something else.
And you're saying that if someone watches this stream, it'll be like listening to screaming children?
It's just you're putting things in juxtaposition, and people are like, what?
A Nausicaan. This isn't the Nausicaa's voice, though. This is a different guy.
So last night I watched a movie with my cousins called The Guilty, and it's basically a bottle episode. It's just Jake Gyllenhaal in a single set, the entire movie.
That's cool.
And it's about a 911 operator. He's a cop who's having to work as a 911 operator because he did something that they explain throughout the movie. So
Is it Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal?
Whatever. Who cares?
No, that's an actual question. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's just cute, right? So.
Yeah, most of the crew is rightly afraid. It's a murder machine. Don't do it.
Suicide box.
Don't stand in it. It might dematerialize you.
Kill you, basically. Wait, and this is the second time.
Would you try it, Ryan?
No.
This is the second time they say that thing. Like, you can feel like you're in two places at once. They have never mentioned that before.
I don't care how much the people in universe would think of me as a crazy conspiracy theorist. I'm not going through a transporter.
You crazy.
There's straight actually called Ryan here as well, Ryan.
Yes, this is Ryan. This is Mr. Ryan.
You know,
also in Hunt for Red October, the main guy is Mr. Ryan, who's supposed to be an author self-insert, trying to make himself look cool.
Cool.
Oh yeah, the boomer thing, space boom. Boomer means something else in our contemporary society.
Yes, you, for example, are a boomer.
Definitely not, but I'll let that pass. But
well, you're like in your 30s or something. That's boomer, right?
That's millennial.
No, I know, but you know what? The fact that
the arch nemesis of the boomers.
I know, but the fact that like Discord is run by 15-year-old does make me de facto like a boomer, because I don't even have a TikTok, so the world is no longer mine.
Boomer is a state of mind.
No, okay. But yeah, okay, boomer is a diss to people of an older age. It's an ageist term, so I'm officially offended.
Okay, boomer. I don't think people say that anymore, though. I think that fad has died out.
The derogatory term for your generation, though, is Zoomer, Ryan.
I think I'm a millennial.
Yeah, well, I'm a millennial too, for your information, but okay.
Yeah, but you're older than me, therefore you're a boomer.
Yeah, I'm between the beatniks and the millennials, really.
Anyone older than me personally is a boomer. Anyone younger than me is a zoomer. That's how it works.
Is it boomer, Gen X, and then millennials, or is it boomer, echo boomer, Gen X, millennials, zoomers?
Yeah. It's Generation Z, technically. We just call them zoomers to, like, you know, reflect the fact that they grew up during the pandemic.
Also, what is that fork?
I think that's a weird fork. Is just a way of, they're just boomers with a Z.
There's no reason that fork wouldn't work very well. It's just weird seeing the tines. They don't flare out. They're in line with the rest of the fork.
It's more like a tuning fork for a piano. But in Deep Space Nine, we discussed how there was a guy who was injured during the Jake running for his life episode during the Dominion War. And the guy says, oh, well, I may just wind up working for a private asteroid mining company. And so we remarked how we saw so little of the private sector in Star Trek. And here, though, we see the private sector of shipping freight.
Yeah, Travis... The actor who plays Travis is now 50 years old. Is he actually a boomer?
No, boomers are people that would be Gen X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boomers are people from the 1950s.
So most of the Star Trek cast over the years is boomers.
No.
I'm pretty sure Jonathan Frakes is a boomer.
You can really easily, right now, open up your browser and find out the years for birthdays for people considered whatever generation you wish.
It's a really great name, and I love Enterprise for it, because I'd rather be a space boom, you know, be born during the space boom, than be born during the baby boom. But yeah.
Well, yeah, Anthony Montgomery, Travis Mayweather. Travis Mayweather is supposed to be like the second youngest person on the ship. And now he's 50 years old. He's an old man. He's near 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, have you seen a picture of him recently, though? He doesn't look like he's aged.
He looks basically the same. Jesus, the dude doesn't age. He grew some facial hair, but other than that...
Yeah, he looks pretty good for his age.
He is also supposed to be like the green character.
He looks like he's in his 30s, but no.
So it's cool that the report here was they both came from freighter families, like Cassidy.
If boomer is, though, a mindset more than an age, I think Shatner is a boomer.
Yeah.
Shatner is a boomer.
But he's
by
also
definition.
a boomer in mind.
But yeah, it's but he went to space though, and he had his mind blown. So basically, he's a hippie, you know.
They're smuggling children in the bulkheads. I feel like we should. Oh, we need to do some police action here.
But I love how T'Pol doesn't lie here.
Do they have a tailor on board? Where did they get children's clothing?
You know, that little thing with T'Pol not lying, it reminds me of so in the
About how all
Catholic...
Vulcans are liars about not lying?
Yeah, but here's the thing though. So in the Catechism of the Roman Catholic Church, there's a rule that you can't lie, right? But you can't lie to someone who's owed the truth. So if you're hiding Jews in your attic and Nazis knock on your door and ask you, "Are you hiding any Jews?" the answer is no. So it's understood that you're allowed to lie in some circumstances.
Oh, Catholics love their loopholes.
And lying to Nazis about Jews hiding in your attic is equivalent to lying about whether you saw a child playing hide and seek?
Yes, I don't know which child is Nadine.
Lupo's like, wow. Okay.
Of course there are no Jews in my attic.
I don't even have an attic. A Nausicaan biosign? Ryan, are you the villain here? He can't be the villain. He's a fellow Ryan.
He was like, "We have a pet on board. Are you talking about that?"
You have a dog. Can't we have our own aliens?
Oh, the Nausicaan. You meant the Nausicaan. Oh, how can I forget about the Nausicaan? Yes, we have a Nausicaan.
What is the law out here? Are they under anyone's jurisdiction in this area of space? Is this international space waters?
I have a friend who was in the Israeli army, and then afterwards he did some private security work. So he was a security guard on a freighter ship that went around the world. So he got to see like Indonesia and Bali and stuff. But at the same time, he had to hold a machine
Okay, but
gun.
did he take prisoners?
No, but so when you go to the east coast of Africa, there are...
No, those private security guys don't take prisoners. They just shoot the Zodiac boats up full of holes and let them sink into the ocean.
No, but the idea is though, like if you have Somali pirates coming up to you and you're on a cruise ship or a freighter ship, just the fact that you have a gun in your hand and like they see that there's armed security on the ship means the pirates won't come aboard. So he's trying to do that.
Yeah, I've seen videos where they keep coming, so they get some warning shots and they keep coming, and then they just like, yeah, okay, well, we tried.
Yeah, the Straits of Malacca between Singapore and
now, what if we
Indonesia is
put
pretty
guns on
dangerous
those freighters, bigger guns?
Mm-hmm.
What if we let freighters have like a cannon? Not like a old Age of Sail cannon. I mean like a battleship cannon.
Well,
Phase
I
cannons.
believe Liberty ships had like small cannons on the front during World War II. The ships that went across the Atlantic. Not
Yeah,
like
but against
not like a
U-boats,
big gun, but like
that's not going to help.
You can't pull a gun on the
Well-
cops, Ryan. What are you doing?
Uh-oh. I thought you were
They're
the
the
good
space
guy, right?
cops.
We're on the same side.
You're a disgrace to your namesake, Ryan.
I
Nice
thought we were
flex.
friends.
Seems pretty chill about the situation. Yo, yes, I'm right. What do you need, Archer?
Did you just convince this guy to stop making the mistake?
No, they don't.
Where
Well,
does he
not
think
right
he's
now.
gonna go? He has a warp 1.8 ship. They have a warp car ship. They're like 8 million times faster than he is.
Where are
They're
you
gonna pick
gonna
these guys
go?
up and come after them like in no time. They're gonna catch up in like 3 minutes.
So they do something where they screw with the sensors, but even given that, the Enterprise can just like do a zigzag across the area and find them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't
They're
even stand up
literally
to the
thousands of
Nausicaans.
times faster. Yeah.
How are they going to stand up to the flagship?
He blasted a hole in the spaceship.
In his own
Is
ship.
it the flagship at this time? Is it the flagship? I don't know if they've made it the flagship, but it's like the only ship. So you know.
NX-01.
Yeah, they only have the one.
Okay.
So by default, it's the flagship.
It carries the flag.
They have other ships, those little ones that are like stay in
They
the
have
sol
the
system.
bloody- Yeah, the Emmett class that just
The
defends
Delta.
Earth, except they don't defend Earth because the Zindi show up and they're nowhere to be
Delta.
found.
NX Delta. Well, they were.
What
they're
are the
busy
Emmett classes doing when the
deploying.
Zindi attack?
Uh-oh. What the heck is going on over there?
What if we started shooting, took out their engines?
Are they worried about patching that hole that he made?
They're going to be in a second.
Okay.
So this is actually how a breach would work in real life.
Slow and steady.
Oh, right, because there's no air pressure, so...
So, what do you think about the air leak on the ISS? Do you think it was that lady, like the Russians said, or do you think it was just some weird problem?
I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure they handled it.
I don't think anybody on a spaceship would purposely cause a leak on that ship.
Well, there's been people in spaceships that have had breakdowns and purposely done lots of bad things.
Are you thinking of real life, or are you thinking of Event Horizon?
No, in real life. No, in real life, they had a talk. There was a Russian guy that had cabin fever, and they had to talk him down from literally starting a nuclear war.
Yeah, that's why you
I
can't
guess
stay
a
up in
nuclear
space
war
for too
given
many
something
days.
to do.
Yeah. So this episode hinges upon Travis's understanding of the civilian mind, of the freighter family mind, like an army brat, basically.
But seriously, why are we just sitting there? Go find them. You know roughly what direction they went. Just go.
You know exactly which direction they went.
Why are you just sitting here? You're always just sitting here. Just go.
Just go. That's rude, Ryan. Can't do that. Also, I don't know if you want to be that close to him. If he headbutts you, you're just dead. He has spikes. I want to back off a bit.
Well, he may not be supposed to do that, but he just did.
I mean, this is pretty dark because like humans aren't supposed to be this sadistic, but
Not supposed to be. They absolutely are.
yeah.
Take away their creature comforts. Deprive them of food, sonic showers, and so forth.
They say people are 3 meals away from revolt, so
A revolution. Napoleon said that.
Yeah.
So if someone goes on a diet,
Yeah, that's the
do
thing.
they
Ryan's
become
just tired of
revolutionaries?
being picked on. He just wants to send a message to the bullies.
This is like when you stand up to your bully, so he stops bullying you, and you punch him in the nose when he's
This is a terrible idea.
trying to steal your lunch money.
Yeah, you punch your bully in the nose. You don't capture him and then beat him. until he gives
and
you
then
information.
the bully has 3 older brothers that you also now have to contend with.
Yeah.
This is a situation where the bully is actually like 3 times your size and works out a lot. The punch isn't really going to help.
Yeah, where his biceps are the size of your head.
Right. I believe you actually know the solution for that problem.
Gun?
Use gun on man.
Mm-hmm.
Guns don't care about how muscular you are, just shoot them. Except that's what they're going to try, and it's not going to work.
Yep.
Oh, is that Crewman Cutler?
Here
Oh, she's gone.
ever watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah.
I like the little like commercial they had with Carl where he's like, yeah, work out, get your pecs, run, whatever. It's like, you just get stabbed. You get effing stabbed and you'll die just like anybody else.
How are they running? It's a Warp 5 engine, at least on paper.
He's a boomer.
Wow, Travis really is a boomer, isn't he? He's going he's going full pull yourself up by your bootstraps here.
It reminds me, I read this this kid, he was explaining how when he told his dad kids were bullying him at school, he said, just go up to him at lunch and say, hey fellas, can I sit with you?
I don't like that. That's gonna work.
Bad advice to how to deal with your bullies, Dad.
What's he eating?
You get
celery, I think.
Just plain celery? Not even peanut butter or nothing? Just celery? What's even the point of eating just celery? Celery's just crunchy water.
Celery is just a vehicle for delivering ranch dressing to your mouth.
I thought that's what salsa chips were for.
Ranch dressing with salsa chips?
You don't deliver ranch on a salsa chip. You deliver salsa on a salsa chip.
Yeah, that's right in the name. The use is right there in the name.
I like to put nacho cheese mix in there.
Well,
you think
I
so?
like taking celery and putting peanut butter on it with raisins.
The same boomer advice I heard, like when 2 kids would fight on the playground, they would like shake hands afterwards. Was there ever a time when that was?
I don't believe that.
Okay. That's what
I wasn't there 60 years ago, but I don't believe that at all.
I don't think so.
No, we went full Ender's Game. You beat them up, and then you stomp on their throat when they're down, so that ensures that there's never any future fights.
Of course.
And no one else tries to.
I mean, that does sound more like murder than self-defense, but effective.
Times. Yeah. But space piracy is gonna be scary whenever we get there.
Space piracy?
Yeah, like I'd be scared if Nausicaans were boarding my family ship, taking all our stuff.
If Nausicaans are boarding your ship, you might have bigger issues.
I cannot imagine Captain Picard ever having a conversation like this, where he's laughing, he's joking around with his crew.
Getting to know him personally.
He regrets it. The one time he almost sort of got close to the crew, it was an imposter.
That's not the captain I know.
He joins the poker game at the end of the series.
There can't mutiny because Captain Picard was singing in 10 forward. They're like, what's happened? Something is wrong with the captain.
They were right. They learned from season 1
with us.
Season 1, Captain Picard literally admitted that he was being possessed by an evil alien. And they said, well, we can't do anything about this. He's still the captain, so we'd just go along with it.
Yeah.
That was such a bad episode. What was the point?
It's like he's the king of England, basically.
You can't even... They can just back up and shoot you from a distance. They're faster.
Yeah. You gotta know who you're messing with.
I think they're a little bit better at this than you. They look a little more maneuverable than your freighter.
Oh, you idiot. It was the most obvious trap in the history of obvious traps.
Oh, Soma.
No, you don't. You do not have the shield frequencies. It just told you some random number.
Probably told you the opposite of the shield frequencies to make it as ineffective as possible.
As much as this guy really is an idiot, because everyone could die that he knows, I feel like it establishes a boundary for humans and other species that, like, look, he can't push us around.
Well, what do you know? It turns out they can push us around. Their weapons are so much stronger, and they have shields.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, shields is a game changer in Enterprise.
They're not going to hold me down no more.
No, they're definitely holding Ryan down. This guy's voice.
But this Nausicaan costume is really great. I wouldn't say it's better than the TNG one, but I really like it.
That's Danny Goldring. I swear he plays a Hirogen.
Yeah, but like the way the fangs or the teeth come onto his lips and across it too, like XY, abscissa, and ordinate wise, it's pretty cool.
I'm kind of curious why the Enterprise, even though that's a weak cannon, I'm kind of curious why the Enterprise doesn't have a cannon.
It wasn't going to be installed until Tuesday, and they just left Space Dock.
Oh right, yeah.
They installed the phase.
They have one like sitting in the cargo bay that's not installed.
Did they not have plasma cannons at the beginning though?
No, they just had the torpedo. Just the torpedo.
The spatial torpedoes.
Yeah,
they had to
they call them spatial torpedoes.
Yes.
The Klingon from Broken Bow back to Kronos. It was an emergency.
And then they didn't go home and finish installing the ship systems
on Jupiter Station.
So yeah, that Nausicaan captain, he also plays Chief Burke, who's the dying soldier where Jake runs away from a battle in DS9. He plays a Nazi Hirogen, and he plays a Cardassian who lectures Dukat in civil defense when he tries to beam off the station that's exploding.
So all military roles.
Oh, is it a matte painting hallway?
Was it? But they don't really do matte paintings. It might have been a CGI hallway.
No, it's a real hallway because they have actors at the other end in a moment.
Okay, yes, that's a real hallway for sure.
Oh, come on, how did you miss that shot?
They missed very well, thanks for asking.
Now the question is...
They're walking down the center of the hallway, and they're waiting to...
You never see the whole shot, so you just see... I think it's just like half sets. Like, they have half of a set in one direction, half of the set in the other direction, but nothing in between... Because it's either close up one end and close up the other end.
True.
So that long hallway could have been
even longer.
A matte painting or CGI.
Nausicaans are a great villain, though. You got to give it to Enterprise for bringing them for this episode.
In range of what? Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Ryan? You've been boarded, there's more ships circling, you're just screwed. Congratulations.
Now Enterprise has to intervene.
You gotta love Archer, because he's basically laying down the law in these wild parts.
What's the second hole in the gun
random
for?
Points of the wall there?
Yeah, whatever.
One for the lock, one for the bolt, and one for the access.
One for dramatic flair.
Hinge.
They're aiming at like just the solid part of the door, two of them, and one of them is at the actual like
They
Ryan,
had
you're still in
tripled the
headbutt
CGI
distance
budget.
there.
That stained glass behind that Nausicaan is great too.
Shut up. Travis, you're not in charge here. Don't talk for the captain.
Yeah, Travis.
But who are you going to play Domjot with?
That's true, because the fact that they were allowed at the Starfleet Academy bar just means that they were like a somewhat accepted species.
They even have spikes on their hands, so if they punch someone, they just always have brass knuckles. Are you sure? Because the last time we saw you try to fire at something that was shielded, it just bounced off.
There's obviously weaker shields according to him, or he's just bluffing.
Well, the idea is, though, they're used to picking on the old class of human ships, and now we have the NX-01 class.
Starship. A starship?
And not just any starship, the Enterprise. So back up before you get snacked up.
Ah yes, the Enterprise with half its weapons sitting uninstalled in a cargo bay.
Do the right thing, Ryan. Yeah, this guy...
Yes, that is a relief. You're about to die.
Yeah, this guy really thinks he's going to accomplish something.
Even if you kill these boarders, they have more.
He's obviously like PTSD, because he's very unstable.
Yes.
He's extremely on edge. Like, when someone's experiences high levels of stress for prolonged periods of time, it really frays your psyche.
You know, I don't think Ryan ever just talked to the Nausicaans and asked them to stop. They can't legally rob his ship without his consent. Oh, now you're asking permission.
Now you're asking.
I like how they have those fan grills there on the dashboard.
Yeah. A nice air-cooled console.
Boomer to boomer talk. This is kind of
nobody will pay the price if he kills all the Nausicaans.
Like, in Star Trek, you got to talk your way through problems. So this guy's been so stressed out and for prolonged periods of high-level stress that, like, just the human connection calms him down.
I guess Travis walking around gesticulating is for his own inflection, but, like, he can't see you.
How many? Wait. It says starboard tubes 3 and 4. How many torpedo tubes do they have?
I think they have 2 on each side of the front.
That doesn't make sense.
And they also have a
starboard
rear launcher.
Tubes 3 and 4. So are you saying that they number them port 1, 2, starboard 3, 4, or do they have port 1, 2, 3, 4 and starboard 1, 2, 3, 4?
I think what they have is port are 1 and 2, and the starboard are 3 and 4. And then just for extra clarity, he's very specific.
Yeah.
Starboard tubes, 3 and 4.
How come we only ever see 2 in the armory?
I'm sorry.
That's one side of the ship.
They're expensive to build.
Yeah.
The aft is the sensors.
They have at least 1 aft torpedo. They fired it this episode or last episode.
Okay. So
apparently they have 2 aft, but yeah, 4 forward at 1 or 2 aft.
The standoff at the OK Corral was averted.
Until TOS, when we'll literally have the standoff at OK Corral.
But I just want to commend the actor who played Matthew Ryan. He does the stress-induced panic thing really well.
He always plays a villain, though. Why can't he be a good guy?
So that's
That's Lawrence Monason. Let's see what else he does.
I don't know if we get better character development from Travis after this.
We get a little bit in season 4, but until then, he gets one more episode. But one more episode for him. Then he gets captured and like mind probed.
Well, he's a great character. That's all I want to say.
And then he gets an ex-girlfriend in season 4, and that's about it. An ex-girlfriend, secret spy agent, undercover in a terrorist cell.
The captain as well, even though his ship was like doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Now that man is a boomer.
Yes. He's not even boomer because he's World War II generation, and boomers are after World War II. That's when Americans started having a lot of babies.
Let's see when he was born.
Yeah, he's because again, this is 2001, so he'd be.
He was born 1946.
Yeah, so he's not a boomer. He's.
Oh, and he shows up in other episodes. Oh, he's the villain that like turns Troy into an 80-year-old woman.
The war ended in 45, so yeah, you're right. He's literally the year after the war.
Yeah, this is the guy that drains people's life force, and then he also shows up as a Trabe in Voyager. The Trabe, as a reminder, are this advanced species who lost to the Kazon, and they had all their ships stolen.
Okay.
Well,
they had like enslaved.
They had
enslaved the Kazon.
The Kazon.
Yeah.
The Kazon had a slave revolt and took all their shit.
Oh, okay, that's good.
The same thing that happened with the Klingons and the I don't remember, the Herc.
The Herc?
Yeah, the Klingons were enslaved by the Herc.
And Kahless revolted against. No.
I don't think it was Kahless. It was I don't know. I don't think it was ever explored in detail.
Yeah, but it was before prehistory. It was way before Kahless, you're right.
Thanks, come on, I've seen enough of this dumb ship. I'm out of here.
You're in the abyss of space and you don't want a shot of good whiskey? Like, come on. What's the point of living if you're not going to sample fine
He drinks on duty later on in the series. He's just being rude.
He says don't make a habit of it. Ship.
Archer,
he does that as a reward.
Archer has the best chef in Starfleet. Having good culinary is not an issue for him.
Okay.
All right, now we get Crewman Daniels, who's, there.
We don't get the
forever.
The scuba suit on him, though.
No, it's actually pronounced Scaba. Because I was informed yesterday that you have to pronounce acronyms based on the words that they represent, so you have to say Scaba.
Thanks.
Apparatus, underwater.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Anyway, Cold Front is next. Everyone queue up 1 minute to that.
It's actually underwater. Water.
Do we get Silic this episode?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we get disguised Silic. And is this also the plumes of Agasauria?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, so there's...
So the Herc were only ever...
They were mentioned in the Sword of Kahless, and I think that might be it.
Yes, that was it. They were only ever mentioned in that dialogue, and then they're only explored in, like, beta sources.
Star Trek Online,
Star Trek
probably.
Invasion, Star Trek Klingon Academy, Star Trek Online.
How do you spell it?
HUR''Q.
Thank you.
Everyone press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. It's Silic. Oh, hey, John.
Yeah, like I said, the Suliban costume here on Silic is so amazing. You just forget that it's a prosthetic. You know, X-Files had Cancer Man. Like, you just see that shady guy wearing a suit smoking a cigar. I feel like this has a lot of Cancer Man. And
So
he's
this-
always pointing Mulder to the right theory.
This is definitely not how genetics works. You can't extract the DNA from someone's eye to make them different eyes.
No, but isn't that how CRISPR works, though? Like, more or less, you just inject the new DNA into the cell?
You have to regrow and cultivate a new thing.
Yeah. That also reminds me of how in Insurrection, when they do the skin tightening for the sonar,
yeah.
Admiral Dougherty.
And Admiral Dougherty gets his skin stretched to death.
Yeah. You know, that's pretty gory, if you ask me.
Is it more gory than someone's head exploding?
It's right up
and
there.
we see like their skeleton as it's exploding, and there's guts all over the room. Except on our main characters. They're perfectly clean after.
Something I love about the space shuttle, when the boosters come off, because it took me only in the past couple of years, is like if you don't need all that fuel, because you need most of the fuel just to get out of the Earth's gravity, and then after that you just throw away the excess boosters, and there's 2 or 3 stages of booster rockets, and you get lighter and lighter as you go higher and higher.
Yeah.
You gotta love physics.
You need basically, well, you need very little fuel to move in space. It just takes a lot to actually go fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
She missed movie night. How dare she? 50,000 movies in the database. Hang on. Let me see. What's the average file size of a movie on my system? My legally acquired movies.
600 megs for a CD-ROM size, let's say.
So I have 144 gigabytes across 31 movies in that folder. So that's...
Here he is. Daniels has arrived.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want Daniels to make me
a bit over
coffee.
4.5 gigabytes per movie in that folder. They said they had 50,000. So if it's the same as my format, then that would be 232 terabytes. 232 terabytes of movies.
Daniels has been doing the food shift the entire time.
Do you think that they had it in 1080p
this time?
I don't know. Also, this episode is directed by
4K?
Robert Duncan McNeil, and the last one was by LeVar Burton directing.
Paris.
So this one is Tom Paris's episode. Agasoria.
I think so. If Daniels is really the chef, is he just stealing the food from other timelines?
Okay, but do you need something? Yeah, why are you calling me? What do you want? You're one of those.
Basically, he's treating him like a Jehovah's Witness.
He's had enough of this from the men.
Plot concept, because the ancient Egyptians, they worshipped the star Sirius. It would rise towards the end of August, and they knew basically from that annual heliacal rising of the star Sirius that the Nile would be about to flood. So their entire religion and mythology of Osiris and his rebirth was based upon the star Sirius and its appearance in the night.
For the record, the star itself is not what causes flooding. It's just coincidence.
Well, some really intelligent person made that observation after thousands of years of looking up at the night sky. So they figured that out. And so the same way, these aliens, every time there's a plume in that nebula, every 11 years, they're like, let's go check out the plume.
Something. What do they eat? Are they vegetarian? Do they have protein supplements? What? Oh, I think I saw Silic there.
They got the Buddhist beads going. Like, Buddhists use beads that are that big.
There's Silic, just behind this guy. Celebrits. There's an R in there. Hey, Soma.
Yes.
Like on New Year's or Christmas or birthday or something, are you a celebrate?
We celebrate the events.
Do you suppose that these are celebrates?
No. No, I don't believe that at all, actually, for these guys.
That's cool that I didn't notice that Archer got a clock or like a timekeeper thing. You guys are talking about
the clock that Cisco made in that one episode when he was crazy.
What do you mean that one
episode?
episode?
The one episode he was crazy.
That's like saying, oh, that one episode where Data took over the Enterprise. What do you mean that one?
That's a lot of people.
It's the one where everybody was, reliving the mutiny.
That's Electrotros.
Are they trying to hide the fact that that's Silic, or is it supposed to be obvious? Because it's very obvious.
They put the camera on him, so it's obvious.
It's not obvious to me because I would not have known if you didn't say.
You don't recognize John Fleck under all the makeup?
Yeah.
Fleck, not Flick.
They held the camera on him for a long period, and then
so
also
that's
at the
just
top
a
of the
happy
episode,
pilgrim.
they just got an episode with him.
You've obviously never been on a religious pilgrimage.
Well, no.
Oh wait, they're gonna give these people like a tour of the warp core, right? And they patronize him because like, oh, they're so proud of their little toys. Let's humor them. Turns out they're actually like 100 years more advanced.
A galactic central view of the universe, huh? Like the heliocentral view of the universe.
He went to a Buddhist monastery, and he also went to the Vatican. Phlox is pretty cool.
No, they're not, Paul. Don't lie to me. Your beliefs are not at all based on logic. You and your crazy rituals.
That means we still have the Vatican in the 22nd century.
It didn't get destroyed in World War III.
The Pope is probably a woman, though.
I doubt that.
It's the 22nd century.
Catholics are not interested in giving women any advancement.
It's 2153.
The current Pope seems pretty chill.
He is. But bad idea.
He also looks like the guy who plays Governor Swan in Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's a bad idea to give strangers a tour of your ship.
Of the engine core? The warp core that explodes if you look at it wrong?
Sensitive parts.
It's like an Enterprise. I always show strangers my sensitive parts.
Now that's
TNG2. In TNG2, they like arrest a Klingon for like using a console in main engineering. It's like, how was he allowed in main engineering?
It's just a chair, Hoshi. I bet my chair's more comfortable than that. That looks awful to sit in.
Uh-oh.
That's some car chair out of the late 90s. I can find it if you give me a second.
Yeah, it's definitely a leather chair.
I like that it swivels. It's a good swivel.
It
I'm not sure about the Windows XP design format on the screen.
I mean, he had the con while there was no one.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's cool they don't call it a warp core here. It's in this series, it's a warp reactor.
And he's so proud of it. Look at all this fancy technology we've made. Look how advanced we are. We're so fast.
I mean, he
and they're
loves
so
the
happy
engine.
with his explanation. They're having a great time. Yeah, they're smarter than you, but they're having a great time, so keep with the tour.
It's like he's going over the basic theories to a PhD.
Ah, positron flow in the dilithium matrix. That's a good question.
Positrons are antimatter.
Let me show you our top secret blueprints right over here.
Yeah.
Though, I do like that he immediately adjusted his technique. It was like, oh, wait, no, these guys are smart. I can talk shop with them.
Why would Silic do this?
Because
Why would
Future
Silic
Archer
stop
told him
the
to.
Enterprise from being destroyed?
Well, we don't know.
Ooh, CGI
he's just
arm.
doing what he's just doing what his patron asks, and
Yep.
he has no allegiance to anyone except
Wait
for
a
that,
minute.
you know?
This guy has a patron he's made a pact with who grants him special powers in return. Is he a warlock?
Yes.
I see.
I mean, it reminds me of Vader's relationship to the Emperor. He just my liege.
They'll be fine.
Plasma is ionized gas.
Yes.
It gets very hot.
Okay, so somebody built a replica of the NX bridge. So I'm looking in this thread right now to see if they have
The same
the
car.
what chair,
Yeah.
the chair, yeah, where it came from. This guy actually like converted a whole like half of his house into the NX-01 bridge. It's pretty wild. Like the whole second floor of his house.
It's pretty cool.
Imagine doing that, and then the series only lasts
I
4
I
seasons.
saw someone, they converted their basement to a home movie theater, and all the seats for the home movie theater look like the captain's chair on the Enterprise D.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to have a
home.
home theater that emulates a Star Trek bridge.
Yeah.
I don't care which one, just a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Just
the
make your own.
Equinox bridge? Including all the damage.
Okay, so this guy's replica of the bridge takes a lot of artistic license, and it's not a very good replica of the bridge.
Naturally, Robo.
It's personalized. It's their bridge, they can make what they want of it.
I really love Phlox's sickbay for having an MRI.
It would be interesting if it is Archer doing all of this, and then Archer's directly working against Daniels, who was working with earlier Archer.
Yeah.
It just that Spider-Man meme, except it's all archers all the way around. A cascade surge in the warp reactor. It's gonna.
It's like,
what's it gonna?
You're so mad that there's a saboteur on the Enterprise right now.
Well, is it really sabotaged if it's messing with the systems to save the ship?
Yeah, but you're like, these pilgrims are supposed to be innocent. And
I think
really
what's possible here, obviously I don't remember the rest of the episode, but I think what's possible here is Slick might have been sent to stop the ship outright exploding by disconnecting that.
He was explicitly. He pulled out a thing that was like a critical power transfer from there to the warp core, and so there was no power transfer, so it just stopped.
From the underside of the warp reactor.
Though he probably has ulterior motives, but he's okay for now.
But Archer is the Man in Black. Unfortunately, they never resolved this plot.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see who Future Guy was.
It's Archer.
a nice mystery. Yeah, so we know that they did also say they would have probably made him be Archer.
Yeah, in these early episodes, it could be Archer, but later on, I don't think you could actually argue that it's Archer, because he's
an antimatter junction. Wait, an antimatter goes through a regular braided cable.
Yeah.
No, it was never confirmed that Archer was Future Guy. It was never confirmed for anything for him, really. Just Future Guy. Are we sure that antimatter can flow through wires in a braided cable? That doesn't feel right.
Maybe it just connected the power to the conduit, so it disabled the conduit where the antimatter flows through, but he's disconnecting like a power thing. Yeah, it shuts it off.
Yeah. Nobody's watching. There was no security. Like, even when you do a tour of the White House, there's usually security.
Yeah, no cameras on the ship.
Yeah.
They haven't invented them yet.
No.
But if in the original timeline, the ship blew up because nobody went back in time to do it, because Archer couldn't send himself back in time because he would have been dead. He couldn't hire Silic. I hate temporal mechanics.
Archer here thinks it's about his breakfast eggs or something.
Everybody knows everything here, John.
Yeah. That's extremely presumptuous to tell your captain that you'd rather have
but
a
Archer's
meeting.
not his captain. Technically, he outranks Archer.
Yeah, but you setting the time and location of a meeting...
At the same time, not really. He doesn't really outrank his...
They're not in the same department, I guess.
Yeah, they're not the same department.
Also, he doesn't even say he's in Starfleet. Yeah, he's not a member of Starfleet explicitly.
Yeah.
But then why do people use Daniels to prove that Starfleet exists in the future? He's not part of Starfleet.
I mean, he brings up the Enterprise J, right?
Because it didn't.
So.
Don't patronize me, crewman.
Like, Enterprise really, like, slowly dropped hints about this plot. It's really drawn out.
Some kind of... Yes, some kind of a time traveler. Excellent, John. Why is his scanner an egg?
They didn't have iPhones back then.
Really chunky for a 29th century tricorder.
But it can do a lot of stuff. It has to have a little circuitry in it to, scan the entire timeline.
Yeah, across the quantum.
So if you had
signature.
if you had the ability to transverse time and space the way he does, you wouldn't need to have a lot of circuitry. You just need access to a computer that could be anywhere. It's just
But then what happens if you get cut off? Then you're screwed.
This is a really cool effect. I
You're
love
screwed
them
anyway.
inside this like Minority Report interface. Also 900 years in the future. That's pretty much like where Discovery winds up, which I think
Oh,
is
there's a
interesting.
Klingon Empire logo. I'm trying to identify anything in the background. The Klingon Empire logo, random diagrams. That kind of looks like a Borg ship design in the top right, a little bit. Well, it's gone now. There it is again.
Like, I think what does Daniel say at the beginning of this? It's like, here we're watching the a group of anthropologists
Of the Great
watching
Pyramid
the.
of Giza.
Pretty cool that Starfleet's doing that in the future.
What? Are the Starfleet observers able to see the aliens that are building it?
That's what's being hinted at, actually.
They're still in the CT stage.
Yeah, because they need to cut away to a new angle.
Yeah.
Now they're not. Like,
So
if you guys remember that video where what's his name? Shran teleports in and replaces Wayun. That's Shran, or Wayun is standing on a plain clean background slate. He's not in the scene because he needs to be replaced. Things need to change. Likewise, they needed to fade out that big graphical effect.
But so Daniels tells him here, Silic just saved your ship, but I'm not implying anything. But I'm here to kill the guy who just saved your ship.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your logic again, bruh?
Well, obviously, Daniels looks more like Archer, so he's going to trust
Yeah.
Daniels.
He's more or less human.
Mm-hmm. So he's more trustworthy.
But Silic can look human if he wants to.
Wait, he just said the fewer the better, but I know the correct answer is the higher the fewer.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Like, you should have just said, I saved your ship. Silic is the bad guy.
Well, he doesn't want to lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust you because you make my eggs right. Okay.
While I'm trying to find what car that seat came out of, which I cannot seem to find.
You're still going on that?
Yeah,
right, so
I came across a site that gives me that prompt about the cookies, and I'd like to point out, man, this EU law that makes them do that is the most obnoxious thing that's ever happened to the internet. Just remember my answer for all websites to disable all tracking cookies, please. Not prompt me every single time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna trust a chef at my local diner because he makes my eggs just right. He must know everything about quantum timelines.
He does also have a big, bulky temporal scanning device. That's pretty good.
Eggs is a hard thing to get right, you know? It's one of
No,
those
they're
things. It's a
not.
kind of narrow window.
They're the quintessential easy meal. What do you mean?
It's all about timing.
You try and make a jammy boiled egg, and you let me know how that goes.
Also, try making a the egg that you put in boiling water. What do you call it?
Boiled egg.
Poached egg.
Poached eggs.
Hard boiled.
Poached egg. Yes.
No.
Doing a poached egg is pretty difficult, and
keeping it together, not letting it
Archer's
get runny.
not getting hard boiled or poached or jelly whatever eggs. He's getting scrambled eggs.
Well, that's enough to impress him.
They're trivially easy to make. You put an egg in a pan and you scramble it, and you're done. You did it.
You still have to watch out for the temperature.
I don't like how low the ceiling is
there.
there.
The egg in the pan. You want to mix it up before you put it in the pan.
Okay, yes, technically I left out like 2 steps, but it's still trivially easy to make scrambled eggs.
I do love Enterprise for giving us this timeline of like the temporal Cold War. It's a cool plot thing. You know, because the TNG era, pretty much they wrote all the stories they could, and now we need to like branch off. And Enterprise was kind of like recognizing that. And we have the love blossoming between these two.
So, do you guys add anything to your scrambled egg other than egg? Do you like mix it with milk? That's very common.
She keeps telling him to stop being a closed-minded human.
Yes, milk.
You're supposed to add flour, I think.
No,
It's
Never.
Optional.
Yeah,
all you actually need for scrambled egg is just egg, but you can add whatever you want.
and oil.
Yes. Where Phlox messes up the chant and he swears on my Star Trek.
My friend did a 10-day long meditation retreat, and he left like 3 days before it was supposed to end, because sitting for 12 hours and just like not moving a muscle is pretty straining. Like Phlox finds out for the 4-hour meditation.
But why do you need to go somewhere to meditate? Surely the whole point is that you're not focusing on anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, can't you just do that like in the bathroom?
You gotta go somewhere there's no
technology or distractions.
Distractions.
Like a closet.
Yeah.
That just sounds like an excuse to go camping in a really nice plot.
As I like to call it, I go glamping.
I like how Phlox is a student of religion. That's pretty cool.
Phlox is a student of everything. He's into everything. He's so happy all the time.
Yeah.
I wish I could be like more like Phlox.
Why is Illinois different?
Why is Earth different?
Really, Discovery answers this somewhat. There's no Federation in 900 years later.
He might
be discussing this.
Well,
he might not be talking about Earth, Illinois. He could be talking about like New Illinois on bloody Beta Gamma 3.
I'm from a place called Illinois, but not an Illinois you've ever been to.
Do they terraform a planet to look just like Earth?
They've terraformed many planets to look like Earth.
Like, but exactly North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Africa. We don't monitor events that closely. I doubt that. You were just watching the building of the Great Pyramids at Giza.
Well, that was a major historical event, not like how many times they're going to go to the bathroom tomorrow.
Okay.
It just passes through the wall.
But, like, how is that event in time any major, like, than me going to the bathroom? It occurs in the same timeline.
Is that a real question?
Let me shut up.
Oh, hold on a second. You know the scene where Archer loses that out of the shuttle pod bay door? It gets sucked off his hand into space. You'd think they would have gone back for it because it's space, right? Scanners should be able to pick up a little metallic device in space.
Okay, so Porthos is obviously telling him that Silic is in the room. He doesn't want cheese, he wants a gun.
He's wagging his tail because he's so happy that
yes,
he's getting attention.
Yes, you have to either, like, if you're trying to make a dog angry on screen, you have to tape its tail or CGI it, because it'll just wag. Because he's happy. I like how I like the way he calls him John. It's my favorite line of Silic's.
John.
They're so casual. They're on a first-name basis. Nobody else calls him John.
Maybe Erica. Every sentence in John.
Does Erica call him John? No. Well, nobody has anything that admits tachyons because tachyons don't exist. The Vulcan Science Directorate has determined that tachyons do not exist.
And they're also not fair.
True. No, that was the Science Vulcan Directorate. That's different. You're the one who altered history, Silic. Okay, so Silic started the cascade and then he saved them from it so he could use this as a bargaining chip. Okay.
Hmm.
By you, Captain. I vote we kill them both. Kill Silic and Daniels. I'll just solve every problem. And if Daniels is telling the truth, he'll come back to life because he'll warn his future self that he'll die.
That mask on Silic is so amazing. Like, he's really a freaky creature. Like
That's
Nightcrawler.
racist.
Sorry. But it's the most realistic alien we get, really, in Star Trek.
Get him, Porthos. Bite him. Bite his leg off.
Yeah, Porthos just barks a little bit.
Don't. Okay. I was worried he was going to leave the door open and Porthos was going to, like, run away and mess with the ship. Oh, here's the start of the intake, right here. Where Phlox gets as far as Goro, and then he messes up.
He profanes the prayer?
Yes. The invocation. Well, he's invoking renewal, I guess. Good take, John. There are a lot of Johns on this show. There's John Fleck, there's John Billingsley, there's Jonathan Archer. I bet that alien's named John. Oh, sorry, the alien who's chanting, his name's not John, it's Joe. It was Silic, obviously.
Somewhere on this deck. Don't jump.
Wait, if they know they're hunting down Silic on the ship, why aren't they armed?
Yeah. And shouldn't you take the fight away from the reactor room?
Wait, is he dying or is he going to the future? I don't think that killed him.
No, it killed him, but he'll be back. Just don't ask him how.
Okay. I mean, there was something screwy with the temporal whatever. Something screwy with the temporal whatever. Very technical of me.
You never asked the senior officers how they came back from the dead.
The Black Mountain.
Something to do with the scuba suit.
Scuba, please.
Sorry. Hey, Scott, back to those green eyes, or Hazel.
Do you think Shax saw the koala? Because Boimler saw the koala when he was partially dead.
Why did he call a phaser a particle weapon? It's not a particle.
Because it is a particle. It is a particle weapon.
A laser of light is not a particle.
It's not a laser. It's
phaser isn't a laser.
It's highly energized particles.
Emitter.
It's a stream of particles.
Okay, thanks.
Actually, technically, it is a stream of just energy because it's CGI. It's just light.
Yeah, I thought it was just okay. Well, everything's light technically because we're looking at it from a screen. So this plot is finally resolved when we get Nazi reptilian Zindi, right?
What about reptilian Zindi?
Like, the temporal Cold War is not really like.
No, you're confusing two episodes together where
Well, that is
the
kind of temporal
reptilian
war because
Zindi.
they're from the people guiding them are from the future.
Yeah,
Now,
but I
the
think he's
interesting
getting
thing-
he's getting the episode
reptilian
where the
Zindi
reptilian
were-
Zindi went back to Detroit in like the 80s versus the
Yeah.
episode where that other species went back to World War II
Yeah.
Germany.
Oh, okay, but they were not sent by the Future Men. Anyway,
Who was not sent by the Future Men?
But either the reptilians or the
No,
Zindi.
the reptilians. No, the reptilians are the Zindi. The reptilians were sent there by the sphere builders, and then the other people went there on their own.
But the sphere builders don't have
the
anything to
demon
do
Nazis.
with the future war. I thought like even the Zindi attack was from
The sphere
29th century.
builders. The sphere
Look, it's
builders want to
confusing.
stop the. Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out when we watch the
Sphere
entire-
builders want to stop the Federation from existing because the Federation
They
is what stopped
destroy them at
in
the Battle
future.
of Procyon 5.
Right. We see it. Daniel's explained it later. Thanks.
But the Nazi demon people were just another faction that had nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah, the Nazi aliens started the Temporal Cold War, which is why Silic is here and Daniels is kind of here, except he's dead, except he's not. But the Zindi also went back in time because the people from the future also wanted to get rid of the Federation. For reasons.
Well, I don't think the sphere builders aren't from the future. They're just extra
They can see
dimensional,
the
so
future.
they can see the future, but they are not from the future.
Time is a dimension, so yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, when you're from the fifth spatial dimension, you can see simultaneously all points in time. So
yeah.
Look, don't worry about it.
Now, the interesting thing is in Star Trek Online, Daniel starts, obviously it's not canon, but Daniel starts taking physical damage to his face over time.
Oh, he takes a lot of physical damage to his face later. Like a lot of physical damage to his face.
I'm basically like Sloane, because Sloane gets beat up by Romulan intelligence at some point too.
It was all part of the plan, though.
Yeah. So is this.
Careful, John. Yeah, some things in here don't react well to phasers.
This reminds me of Tron, the original 1971 one, where they have to like plug in something in a giant. They're shrunk to the size of a microchip.
Ooh, wings, that'd be nice.
all he needs to do is drink a Red Bull.
We're not trusting. What are you talking about?
We didn't have Red Bull in 2001.
Did we not?
No, like it was invented in Thailand, like Southeast Asia, by a trucker, like a chemist for truckers, and then later it spread to the U.S.
1984.
Thanks.
Which was earlier. Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm gonna go on mute.
You and your incorrect Red Bull facts.
When was Red Bull first sold in the U.S.? 1997. When did it first come out?
It doesn't matter.
I know.
It's just Red Bull. Who cares?
Billionaire who invented Red Bull energy drink dies in Bangkok at age 89.
John, why are you talking to him? Just shoot him.
Yeah.
Or
yes, kill him. Just shoot him.
You can't kill someone who saved your life.
You could stun him at least. Just shoot him. Use gun on Suliban. Now he got away. Good job, John.
So some of these control panels have actual dials and buttons on them, and some of them are just like screen printed with lights behind them. But I appreciate that they made it look like it could have become what TOS was. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate
way.
that all the buttons on the ship look like they might actually do something, unlike the Lacar's interface.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also it's an analog interface rather than a digital one.
That's a crazy difference from the last episode where they had
there it goes.
Right. So couldn't they just scan and be like, hey, find a piece of metal out there and let's grab it?
But Soma, what did they have in the last
transporter.
episodes?
The last episode they had a hull breach and it did basically nothing. And this one they've opened the bay and he just fell off a bridge for some reason.
Well, the last hull breach was... The last hull breach was a tiny little hole. This is the entire shuttle bay is open.
The subtitle was just "Whooshing continues."
Ah, that's a good subtitle.
So
oh man, totally CGI Silic. They couldn't have had him on wires in front of a green screen?
No.
Suliban don't need air.
Believe it or not, that may have been more expensive.
Than the CGI Silic?
Well, they already have the model.
As we learned last week, movie sets can be very dangerous places. So, in terms of human life, you may just want to go the CGI way sometimes.
They already have CG models of all the major actors, so, I mean, they might as well use it. You only have to make it once.
That arms director was totally negligent last week. Keeping live ammunition on the set, you're not supposed to do that. That's why.
we are aware of the story.
Sorry.
Yes.
Fortunately, nobody on Star Trek has ever been given a live phaser. All right, so they solved nothing. Nothing happened. They learned about the Temporal Cold War, and then the episode just continued for a while.
It's pretty dangerous to dangle someone on wires when you think about it.
Well,
there's a great Doctor Who clip. There's a great Doctor Who video or whatever where Matt Smith's on wires and he's trying to get into a spacesuit.
A shot from behind like that, they wouldn't have had to dangle him on wires. They could have put him on like a blue stool or green stool over a green screen floor and then move the camera up. That's generally how they do that.
True.
But wires are more fun.
Sure.
Ooh, it's some spooky music. Wait. Is that so easy to unlock, like you just turn the thing back vertical?
I love this creepy music.
Right,
there's a number panel on it. You gotta type in.
They're playing this so spooky, but nothing happens with this.
He goes back to it. He goes back to it another time. They use that prop for the Ferengi episode.
He goes into his quarters and then sees some designs of future ships, and that's about it.
Yeah,
what did they use that for?
It's played up as this big, like, sort of Damocles hanging over the crew of the Enterprise. But
face cannons next week. So they literally just waited for 10 episodes before getting face cannons.
Yes. Anyway, next week, Silent Enemy, which is really good, where they get phase cannons and there's an enemy who's silent. Shadows of Pajem. Shadows of Pajem has Shran in it.
Yeah, that's not next week though.
And then, yeah, it is.
Silent Enemy, Dear Doctor, Sleeping Dogs is 3 episodes.
No, Silent Enemy, Shadows of Pajem, Dear Doctor.
That's not the order on Netflix.
That's the order on Amazon. Do you even see Shadows of Pajem?
Yeah.
What episode does it say it is?
Order, then?
Let me check Memory Alpha to see what the correct order is.
Shadows of Pajem is episode 14.
There's production order and broadcast order. Sometimes there's a confusion for that reason. Because the scripts go in terms of production
Enemy,
order.
Dear Doctor, Sleeping Dogs.
And for whatever
Shadows
reason...
Pajem is 15.
For whatever reason, they broadcast the stuff out of order.
Yeah.
Well, we're going based on the list that I have, which is Silent Enemy, Shadows of Pajem, and Dear Doctor. Dear Doctor is the one where they murder an entire planet by inaction.
Well,
So
only
that's-
one race on the planet.
Only one. Only half of the planet. That's true. But tomorrow is one Voyager episode, but it's Halloween tomorrow. And, so Halloween episodes. If people aren't doing anything else for Halloween in the middle of the
Netflix
day.
follows the original broadcast order.
Okay.
Yeah, I think somebody just made a mistake on Amazon because, it's got the wrong broadcast date for Shadows of Pajam.
It's the order we're going, is what we're doing. I don't care. Tomorrow is Cat's Paw, which is TOS, and it's very spooky. Not Sub Rosa, unfortunately. Enterprise Dead Stop, and Voyager The Haunting of Deck 12. So that should
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, chat.
There are some spooky episodes of New Trek, but they're harder to access, so I don't want to do them yet. You have to get Paramount Plus if you're in the US, and I don't want to make people subscribe to that right now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Even though
The higher the viewer.
Prodigy's out now.
Yep. Prodigy's out, and
I would wait for the... Oh, your review just failed. I would wait for the entire season to be over and for me to have a couple seasons of Discovery, and then in the next season of Picard, and then the first season of Prodigy to watch all in 1 month, and then so I can maximize my use and then cancel.
Yeah, I only have Paramount Plus because they offered an entire year for less than $50 a while ago. So I was like, okay, I'll pay that much.
Okay. Anyway, that's that. The stream's over.